What's going on, everybody? James here from Artificial Entertainment, and today we're just going to quickly cover how to be able to set up the animation blueprint side of things inside of the dynamic parkour tray system. Now, I did cover this inside of the game animation sample project integration, but if you're not using the game animation sample project, you might have missed this because I've accidentally forgot to put this inside of the climbing setup video. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look how to get this set up. So I have here a fairly fresh third-person template. I've added the dynamic parkour tray system to it, and I've created a new animation blueprint. Now, I haven't really done much to this. There's no animations inside of this. It's a fairly blank animation blueprint, but it's more to just serve as an example to show you the thing that I accidentally forgot to show you guys in the other video. So, in a normal situation, if you're not using the game animation sample project, your animation blueprint might look something like this, where you're casting to your character, getting the information about the movement, and then setting some movement variables such as like velocity, directions, all that good stuff. Now, to be able to get the information to be able to actually use things like idle states when you're climbing inside of the dynamic parkour tray system, there's actually values that are provided inside of the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab and create, at least I like to do them in functions. You don't have to, but this is just what I like to do. And we're going to call it set traversal variables. Now, what this is going to do is we're going to pull off of this, create a sequence, but we're actually going to disconnect the sequence because we want to check something first. So we're going to pull off and get the ABP third person character or whatever your character reference is. And then we're going to get the dynamic parkour trace system. Now we want to get the actual reference to it. And then we're going to get an is valid check. And we want to make sure we get this one here, the one that's a function execution here. Because this way we've got the pass through. If it is valid, we can then go through and get information about it. This is more just to help things at like the first tick of play. Sometimes components can be a little bit finicky. So I like to do this just to fix that first tick problem. Now, once it is valid, the first thing we're going to want to do is pull off and we're going to do get climb type. And you're going to see, climb style. And you'll see get active climb style. So we're going to right click and promote this to a variable. Now, if you're using wall running, you're also going to want to make sure to pull off and get the get wall run side, because this is going to help you determine which wall run side, left or right, to be able to use inside of the blend that we're going to set up. I'm going to put this off at the second sequence here, not at the end like that. So now we have the active climb style and the wall run side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to compile and save and go back to the anim graph. Now, your anim graph might look different. This is just a basic state machine and a default slot just to kind of demonstrate the most basic principle. But basically, wherever you have your default slot, you usually want to just disconnect beforehand. So this way it still uses it. And then we're going to pull off and get a blend by bool. And you'll see blend poses by bool. Now, what we're going to do is hook your basic locomotion. Now, if you have a ton of information, like an entire lean system and a whole bunch of other things going off, you can just pull off and cache the pose instead and then plug the cache pose in if you'd like. But because I don't have a lot of craziness going on, I'm just going to do a direct plugin. Now, off of false, though, we're going to pull off and get a new state machine. And we're going to go ahead and add it in, F2 to rename, and we're going to call this climbing states. For the active value on the blend by bool, we're going to get the active climb value or active climb style, pull off and see if enum is equal, and we'll see if enum is equal to none. So if our climb style is equal to none, so we're not climbing, we're just kind of running along the ground or doing our whatever, then we want to use the base locomotion. However, if we are in a climb style of any kind, and this could be a ledge, a point, a free climb, or a wall run, it doesn't matter, then we want to go ahead and go into our climb states. So now we're going to open up the climb states here. Now, inside of here is going to be where we're going to put all of our actual movement. So the first thing we're going to do here, though, is going to be a add state and then climb states. And then double click and open it up. Off the result, pull off, and we're going to type in blend by climb type, and you'll see blend poses E underscore climb type. So what this is going to allow us to do now is be able to blend animations based off of whatever the climb style is. So we can take the active climb style from our variables here and plug it right into the enum value. Now, as you can see, we only have a default though. So if we right click on this, you'll then see at the bottom, add pin for element. So we're going to add ledge, point, free climb, and wall run. Now from here, this is where you can just go ahead and put in your ledge, left, right, idle blend space. Point pose, I usually just use a standard idle animation, like an on-ledge idle. The free climb is going to be a up, down, left, right type of blend space usually. And the wall run is going to be this. So we're going to pull off and get blend by. And for the wall run, it's side direction. So you'll see blend poses E underscore side direction. So this is where we just get the wall run side, plug it into there. And just like how we did with this one, we're going to right click and get left and right. And so now when it's a left side wall run, it'll choose whatever animation you put into here. And if it's a right side wall run, it'll put whatever you want into here. And again, we also have like some really nice blend values here that we can use to control things, and it's only going to go into this state whenever we are in an active climb style. It is important though that a default slot is put out afterwards, because if not, and it does not have a default slot in when it's running the climb states, certain things like vault ups and over and certain climb style like ending actions will not actually trigger. So it's very important that you make sure to have a default slot in there somewhere with the actual climb states as well. But that's really all you really need to do for the setup, guys. It's just kind of basically getting a couple pieces of information. Now, as far as where you can put the information itself, the set traversal variables, I usually just put right after whatever movement variables I have. So I would hook it up like this to be able to actually, set the information at runtime, set all this, and then go ahead and use it inside of the climb states as shown. But that's really all there is to it. Outside of that, it's kind of really just up to however you want to use your animations. It's basic blend space stuff. If you guys need more information on blend spaces, I've got a few videos, and there's a ton of other videos out there. So, you guys can look up that information as you need. But I'm going to close out this video for now, guys. We got more coming out about the system and more new things that I'm going to be showcasing. I know I'm excited. I hope you are. But that's going to close it out for now. I hope this was informative. But until the next video, stay tuned. Stay animated, y'all.